Welcome to the Inner Athlete Podcast, where we help young athletes, parents, and coaches build strong, resilient, and high-performing athletes for sport and life. I'm Trent and head strength conditioning coach and founder of Inner Athlete. Each episode, we break down the training, mindset, and habits that actually matter, from strength and speed development to injury prevention, confidence, and long-term athletic growth. Whether you're a parent trying to support your child or an athlete chasing their potential, you're in the right place. Let's get into today's episode.
With the soccer. So soccer is a really good example of, it's proliferated like crazy. The world game is, the participation numbers are pretty much at an all-time high. But yet a lot of the research has been mentioned is very much being male specific. It's obviously taking a little bit of time now. And now the research is starting to catch up a little bit more in terms of female specific, in terms of the injury prevention and performance. Has there been any big changes in terms of how we actually go about looking after the girls? So imagine they come in as freshmen. Has that changed from where you previously started?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. So let me reflect back a little bit. 2017 to now. I would say maybe circumstantial to us, but the coaches that are part of the female head coaches that have female teams, I think have seen that there's more importance to performance from my time here. A lot of the coaches that I work with that are leading female teams have been very supportive of us, of the performance realm. Gymnastics for me, when I got in with gymnastics, is my third year, is I go in trying to build a relationship with any of my coaches, man. And going into the team, year one, their schedule was they would lift twice a week off season. In season, it was once a week sometimes, and it was a short lift. First year, it helped to have the force plates, and this is why have felt very strongly. It helps to have actual objective, like KPIs that you could present to coaches rather than just saying, oh, we need to do this because they're not strong. Going through the season, I started seeing these KPIs, getting this data, and I'll give the force plate company we use is Bald, and they have a ton of normative data, and they share it with you, like if you're a user. So I was able to get normative data, like on gymnastics, for example, and see, hey, here's where whatever elite athletes are hitting these numbers. So I'd start talking to the coach, build a good relationship with him, and I let him know, like, I think we're not getting into the gym enough. So I think we could benefit from more strength, seeing some breakdown of some stuff, man. And I'd bring up some examples, like, here's what I'm seeing, coach. Cool. We got through that first year, build a good relationship. That summer comes in, and we're having meetings for the next year, and he told me, how many days do you want them in the weight room? I said, I would like them 4 days in the weight room. He's like, okay, done. We'll make that happen. So then last year we shifted to 4 days, and beginning of the season, it helps that he has a great culture with the team. So the girls were like, for some of them, that was completely like, oh my gosh, we used to lift twice a week. Now we're going to lift 4 times a week. But we started seeing the benefits of it and the durability. Injuries are going to happen in sport. It's part of it. But a lot of times I think the resilience part of what comes with being strong is that I had a strength coach, man, that said here, he's like, weak things don't break. Sometimes you might get hurt, but because of your strength levels, maybe you avoided something that was season ending. And it helps you recover faster. We had a good year. We had a couple girls that avoided a couple big injuries. And so now this year again, he was like, hey, how many days you want them? 4 days. Cool. Up to what time? And he has fully bought into that. It also helped me to help the girls understand that, like, if I have an opportunity to educate them on stuff like that, I do. This past season with one of the female athletes, she during a volleyball match, she landed weird, knee swelled up the next day, went through some x-rays and scans and whatnot. It was just a really bad sprain. I think I don't remember if it was LCL or MCL. Bad sprain. Recovered from it pretty fast, and I told her, I was like, the reason to me I was like that this helped and this wasn't as catastrophic is because you have put in the work and you have come in the weight room and you have taken it seriously. Like, if you had not, that could have been potentially something season ending. Coaches are understanding more the value of it, and we as a staff, we try to sell it as like, I can get your athlete strong, coach, but if they're not available, that's not going to help you. So it's like durability is the new advantage. If you have most of your roster or all your roster available, we're in a great spot. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that answer. Sorry, you were saying?
No, I was just that I had a different thought, but just going on that, it's like it's strength training, it's recovery, and it's the long-term perspective, and that's what we try to sell on the athletes as well. It's like this is you're trying to play the long game.
Yeah, and it prevents those, like we said before, just athletes coming in and out all the time. Peaks and troughs. Like there might be zero symptoms, they're moving all right, and then as soon as they go to accelerate really hard, boom, something goes. They haven't worked on developing that durability, and I think it's almost like if you wanted to design like a durable, well-performing car, it takes a lot of time, work, and effort, and you have to be consistent with it in order to get the product that you want in that time frame that you want to have it to produce performance. It's kind of like what we work with our athletes. That's what the off season is really for. And then during the preseason and in-season, obviously expectations will change. Are we going to see increases in performance in the gym? No, probably not. Right? But if there's a downtime, we could probably push a little bit harder, create some adaptations, and then obviously just back off and put more of a maintenance perspective when it comes to the strength training side or from a strength conditioning side moving forward. And I think that's what a lot of younger athletes miss out, is creating the durability in the off season. So when they enter the preseason, what's preseason usually? It's usually the hardest time of the year for a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of hours, a lot of time. You have to, your sleep is, starts to suffer a little bit more. You got to really focus on your nutrition side, and you come out of it and the season hits and you're usually pretty good. Usually you're pretty good to go from that perspective, because you put all of that work in, you've recovered from all the work, and it's all just about maintenance from there, rather than trying to gain performance mid-season, which I find, unfortunately, a lot of athletes try and gain performance mid-season.
You're too late by that point.
Exactly. So all the work needs to be done when you have the time to do it. And like you said, with the gymnastics coach, it's a perfect example. Like, I'll give you an example here. Like, I hear stories all the time of, we got stress fractures in the lower back, stress fractures in the shins. They came from a stress response. They came from shin splints. And a lot of the times we've lacked that foundational work, creating that robustness, that general athletic development. And when they start to treat them like adults, 13, 14, 15-year-olds that are suffering these, sometimes, season-ending injuries. And some athletes I hear of now, they're out of the sport completely because they've suffered some sort of like traumatic lower back injury, and they're just like, no, they can't do it anymore. Yeah. So it will actually lead to something worse moving forward. Because I think the US kind of leads the trend in terms of where we should continue to move towards. Australia, in some pockets, we're really good. Some pockets, they're really still far behind from my perspective, where we need to create this general athletic base in the off season, but even as juniors as well. And then as later on down the track, they're going to be able to peak a lot later on down the track. And now I'm not too sure. I always go back to social media because I find it interesting now. A lot of coaches and professors and researchers are putting all this information out, all this research out, and a lot of people that enter a lot of academies at a younger age, it's not guaranteed them to be selected for professional programs.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, so you could spend, as a parent, you could spend all this money, spend all this time driving hours on end a week to training sessions, to competitions. And what does it lead towards? A child that burns out by the age of 17 and it's out of the sport.
It's 100%, man. And it's such a sad thing because I've seen it here where we get a really talented freshman, and you know what? But sometimes by their sophomore year, they're burned out, and they kind of come in already kind of burned out, showing those signs. But then once they're here with no parents and stuff around, it's like, dude, I actually don't like this sport anymore. And it's a sad reality, but yes, you do get a ton of kids that burn out early on. And it's sad to see, but it is a reality of the sports. And there's a lot of things to me that can be fixed, like you said, at the youth level. There's just so many games, so many practices. At least for I'm seeing in the US, a lot of times, unfortunately, it's actually not enough practice and it's way too many games. And it's like, when are the kids actually going to practice? And that's just a recipe for disaster. Like, when do you build durability if you're going year round when you're 13, 14, 15?
Yeah, it's the durability we need to work on, and then the development side. I think development needs to be like a cornerstone for a lot of programs. And as they get older, the development becomes a little less, but a lot more focused.
Yeah.
As they become a bit more specialized later on down the track.
If you're getting value from the In Athlete podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps more parents and young athletes find the right guidance and keeps this podcast growing. Back to the show.
I want to get to some rapid fire questions. So, what's one mistake athletes make returning from injury? So, what's the biggest mistake that you see the most of?
Kind of goes in line with what I touched on earlier, is the athlete themselves confusing or thinking that I've been medically cleared, that means I'm ready. I think that's the biggest mistake. And that's on us, for me as a strength coach and as the athletic trainer, to help educate the athlete. You are cleared for this. We got over here, man, to get to for you to be ready. That's why I said for us, that 5-step approach and talking to them and being upfront with, here's what the recovery looks like. We're cleared to start here. That doesn't mean you're ready for the sport.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is, from that perspective, is the coaches and the support staff need to be an advocate for the athlete to some degree as well. Like
it helps a lot.
Yeah, you're dealing with a human being at the end of the day in your care,
and they have a ton of emotions, man.
Yeah,
at this age.
Yeah, I know. That's another podcast for another day.
Yeah.
Misconception about sports psychology. What do you? Obviously, you've been doing it for a little while now. What's just a common misconception?
It's getting better, but athletes coming in, freshmen, and even some of the ones that are a little bit older, the biggest misconception is them thinking it's only for athletes who are struggling. Like, it's only for this guy. He's struggling. He needs it. And it's like, no, man, you can be 100% fine, and you just want to refine your mental game. You can go and exercise that, just like you come in and work out in the weight room because we're just trying to stay in shape. You got to keep your mental game in shape as well.
Yeah. And then what's one non-negotiable for long-term athletic development in your eyes?
One non-negotiable?
Yeah.
You have to load the body. You have to load it. And to me, I've discovered that. And also, there's a time and place. You touched on it. You have to load it in season as well if you want to maintain strength.
Yeah, to maintain that durability.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like a video game where you can just save it and then you're done.
No, you have to load it throughout the entire year.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. Cool. Jaime, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. I think it's probably time for you to start to unwind and get off the blue light of the screen as well.
No, man, I could go on for a long time, but I appreciate the hospitality, man. It's always fun talking to you.
Yeah, and I feel like this time around there's obviously a lot more going on within the athletic world. There seems to be a lot more money invested. And then just a quick fact for you, I did a presentation not too long ago talking about youth sports. It's currently worth about $64 billion worldwide. I know, right? By the end of the decade, this is US dollars, by the way. And then it's going to be worth about $80 billion at the end of the decade.
Yeah, I thoroughly believe that, man.
Yeah, and so 100% believe in it as well, that it will get that far, and it's only going to grow. Sports is becoming a lot more of a feasible pathway for people.
Yeah.
And it's becoming a more part of their life. And I think sport's great because it teaches so many lessons that, I think other parts just don't.
I would agree. It's a great environment, and I think because it's such a unique thing where you can learn and grow a lot as an individual, as an adult. I think we have a really great responsibility of doing it right. for a lot of these kids at the youth level. And to me, at least, I always look at it that way. I have a big responsibility with all the athletes I coach, and I try to make sure for them to understand that I'm in their corner, not just for the weight room, but like there's more to life than your sport, and it's one day that's going to run out.
100%. I agree with that. Cool. Thanks for listening in. This has been a Monster podcast, and we'll see you all in the next one.